Here is another Excellent Men comic. This is Excellent Men Legends 244. This is the issue that precedes the Age of Egg crossover, and it loosely teases and sets that up. It's a bit of a prelude, but it is mainly a self-contained story about nobody's favourite plot device, Blind Spot, rambling on about her premonitions that she never explains. This is written by Michael Lucifer again. He was the writer of this series. And the art is by Harvey Taliban. This is an artist I am back and forth on. His name was considered for my deceased feature, Artists Who Are Overrated Acts, which has about 50 active petitions begging me to bring it back. But this artist, my issue isn't that he is a member of the Taliban, but it is that I didn't know if I like his art or not. If Bin Laden drew like Jim Lee, people would have a lot more patience for him. I see a lot of the same problems with Harvey Taliban stuff that I have with the other overrated acts, namely Raphael the Turtle. But unlike some others, I think this is an artist who maybe just needs a nudge or someone to point something out and he would correct it. I won't talk too much about the art. I will be honest, part of the reason I discontinued that feature was because there is only so many ways that I can say art is shit. And yeah, this guy, he does the same thing Raphael the Turtle does, with characters always being at an angle. But there are panels, like this one of Rouge, where that isn't the case. More specific to Harvey Taliban, I think he makes things a bit too overly detailed. Like, he puts too much lines on stuff that is meant to be detail. And then some stuff seems too round. Like Rouge's lips here, they seem too round. Anyway, our plot is Blind Spot. She has a plot for us. She should be called Blind Plot, but that's twice removed from her real name, so she won't be. She has had another of her visions about something that is going to doom all the Excellent Men. And our here in her vision, she sees a bunch of Excellent Men characters like Bling Blang Bloom, Dr. X. This is Ed Gambit. I'll be explaining why he looks weird in a few pages' time. And Elian Keller. And most terrifying of all is that they are all shown from an eye or low angle to get away with foreshortening the faces. Blind Spot, she thinks one of them might be responsible for whatever nightmare she has foreseen. Really nice to see the Excellent Men respond to her vague, cryptic fantasies by taking it seriously and mobilising a response and precautions straight away. I like when my heroes are written as being smart and planning well, especially when it is Cyclist and Emma Frosty's. And our more downtime moments for this issue involve Blind Spot ganning around the Excellent Men's Island and talking to the people from her vision. And first, it is Ed Gambit, and say hello to a plotline that was completely forgotten. This is the last time it is ever referred to, in fact. Ed Gambit, he was transformed into Armageddon's jockey back in 2006. And he was actually never cured from that. So now, in 2010, for about a year at this point, we were seeing his dark, evil jockey persona come to the surface. Most prominently in Coming Second, when he went on a side quest. We never resolved this though, it's not referred to again. But I think I have a fix for this. The Age of Egg thing removed this. It fixed Ed Gambit. Like how Decibel, he comes out of Age of Egg and his powers are back afterwards. Well, I reckon that explanation for this plotline could just be the same. There's no hint to that anyway. The thing is, Michael Lucifer, he routinely just forgets about characters or subplots that he has set up in this book. Like Elian Keller here. He forgets Elian Keller all the time. And that might be a good thing because he seemed to be trying to set Elian Keller up as someone who was slowly turning evil. In Coming Second, Elian Keller, he lost both his hands while fighting the Nimrods, and since then he has become very bitter and very angry and resentful. Meanwhile, Rouge, she gets to check in on the scientist team and make sure they are aware of the unspecified danger that Blind Spot has seen coming. And we get a great scene catching up with that Dan Stevens subplot. And this is what I have wanted from this character all along. Christopher Clairvoyant, he introduced legend Dan Stevens. And the big thing, or at least what should have been the big thing, was that Dr. X, the leader of the Excellent Men, he had a son and he hadn't been a very good father to him. Virtually nobody had ever bothered to explore this relationship, even though it is the most interesting thing about Dan Stevens, and it presents so many opportunities for doing new stuff with Dr. X. But I love this bit because not only is it Dr. X acknowledging that he has a son for once, but he is written in character and there is none of the dark retcons that everyone and their mum was doing with Dr. X in this period. They have organised Dan Stevens' mind space and they are able to contain all the different personalities, and as you saw in Coming Second, they were able to utilise these so that Dan Stevens can draw on them for different powers and stuff like that. But now they are going to get rid of some of the more problematic personalities, like the truly evil ones and the uncontrollable ones. And Dr. X, he is against this because he thinks it is a form of murder and he worries what effect this will have on his son. And then we get to our main plot. 4 muties, they have gone missing and nobody can find them, not even the computers. We have some art here that isn't bad. I'm thinking of this one of Rouge here. I really can't settle whether I like this artist or I didn't like it at all. But Blind Spot, in some of the awkward angle poses, she is attacked by Summit, and Rouge, she rushes to her rescue, and it is a big scary monster. It is Dan Slott's Spider-Man, but mainly it is this scary tendril monster that wants to, and I quote, suck out mutie brains through their eyeballs. So we have a big action scene with Rouge fighting this carnivorous squid monster. There is even a good bit where she is in telepathic contact with Emma Frosties, and it turns out that only Rouge can see this monster, and rather than everyone else thinking that Rouge has gone crazy and is seeing things, they believe her that there is a monster there and they just cannot see it. This book, Michael Lucifer's run on Excellent Men, it always did have a Rouge focus, even when it became a Dr. X solo book for 20 issues. After that experiment didn't bring big sales, they ended it with a Rouge story. But here, Rouge, she absorbs all the powers of the would-be mutie foods for this monster, and she defeats it. And the rest of the team arrive too late to join the fight because Rouge has already beaten it. And then Blind Spot, she does some more crypticisms, and she says that the monster wasn't the thing that she had saw coming, and what she had actually seen happening was Age of Egg. Then at the back we have some nice Age of Egg promo material, a nice double page house ad showing some of the characters here. Surprised they never made this into a cover or something like that. Then we have some of the new designs by Clayface, and an interview over here with Michael Lucifer about the upcoming crossover. And up here is another bit of art that they curiously didn't reuse as a cover or anything like that. This is Clayface art here, and it shows most of the main characters in Age of Egg. If you are reading Age of Egg, this issue is inessential. It adds a tiny little bit more context, and obviously that's seen in part 2, I think it was, where Blind Spot, where she appeared on a page. She was referring to this issue, but if you're just reading Age of Egg, this is not a huge part of it. They didn't even collect this issue in the Age of Egg trade. It is an okay story, like that last New Muties issue I reviewed. The bit about Dan Stevens is my favourite bit, but in this case, it's more so because I think Dr. X is written really well there, and we are finally, 30 years later, exploring the father-son stuff with them. I quite like this cover, even though it is all about Blind Spot. and I cannot decide about the interior artist, so can you decide for us down in the comments below. I'll give this 7 thumbs up.